You may have heard this story before, but I think it's repeatable. When I lived in Skokie, my next-door neighbors were observant Jews. They were nice people, but they did keep their distance because I was not a Jew, which is fine. Friendly, but not too friendly. Well, one day, I happened to be in my office reading something, and it was a Saturday morning, and I heard this knock on the door. I think, why did they ring the doorbell? And then I finally figured out that it was she, my next-door neighbor. And she said, I have a favor to ask of you. I said, oh, what can I do for you? She said, I'm having company tonight, and I forgot to turn the stove on. And it was one of those days where it was spring, so the days were getting longer. And I said, okay, fine. So I walked over to her house, and I turned on the stove, and I set the flame just where she wanted it. And I said, how come you couldn't turn on the stove? She said, well, it's a Sabbath, and you don't work on the Sabbath. And turning on the stove would be creating a spark. And only God created, and he took a rest on the Sabbath. And she couldn't ring the doorbell because that would create a circuit. She couldn't ride in a car. But, so I got to learn about some of the Jewish customs. And I was wondering, if I turned the heat on high, she couldn't do anything about it, and I'd ruin her dinner. But that's me. And of course, the whole idea was that she had to be practical. She didn't want to ruin her meal for her guests, who were coming after sunset, by the way, but she wanted to have a hot meal for them. So I said, fine. So you know what? The whole idea is that she was observing the law. But I also learned in my time there, if it's an emergency, you take care of the emergency. If one of the kids got sick, they could dial 911. If somebody was extremely hurt, they could take care of it. So the whole idea was the law was there to give order. The law is there to help with their rituals. The law is there to help with their customs. The law is there to give order. And we have our laws in the Catholic Church. We had laws that sometimes at one point were ridiculous, and fortunately they've changed. But the other side of the coin, too, laws give us a direction. Laws give us a purpose. Laws help us to order our lives. And that's what the Pharisees and the scribes and the people who didn't like Jesus didn't get. And so basically Jesus said, the law is meant to serve us, give us order, give us stability, give us peace. But when something urgent needs to be done, the law does not apply. In one of the things we learned in seminary, if the law didn't apply, it's called ecclesia supplet. In this case, the law does not apply. And you can not break the law, but say the law in this case does not apply. So ecclesia supplet and I have become friends, which I don't think is a bad idea, because we have to be pastors, each and every one of us, and make sure that people are taken care of. And of course, my neighbor had a nice meal that night because, one of us who is not Jewish helped her out. And that's good. We need to do that. We need to do that with all our brothers and sisters. Take care of them, no matter who they are, their religion, or anything else.
Thank you for participating in this production of our virtual Mass. Your presence means so much. Every day, so many parishioners connect to OLPH through the digital ministry. The digital ministry is one of almost 80 ministries supported by the parish. That's why your support of the parish is crucial, so we can continue to have the resources to fund all of our ministries that touch the lives of many. Thank you for watching, continue to watch, and thanks again for your support.